Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. As you probably know, the goal of 1 Million by 1 Million is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million in annual revenue by 2020, and 1 million and beyond. So we already have entrepreneurs who are well beyond 1 million in the program, and our goal is to build $1 trillion in global GDP and 10 million jobs. And that goal would only be successful if all of you become successful entrepreneurs. So we are in dire need of really good entrepreneurs who can make their dreams come true and hence contribute to this global movement. This is our 134th roundtable, and today is an open roundtable, and we have people from all over the world. We'll find out soon where they're from. Every session we have people from all over the world. You will have a recording of the roundtable available to you later to share or to refer back to. And if you're tweeting, live tweeting this show, please use the hashtag 1M1M. Our Twitter handles are @1M by1M and @Romana. You're welcome to follow those, retweet, or connect with the retweeting that's happening from that handle. So our first presenter today is Chetan Vinci. Chetan, if you could unmute your line and come and tell us what you're doing, that would be great.
Yeah. Hi. Good morning, Shimana, Maureen, everyone else. This is Chetan Vinci from Bangalore. I am one of the founders of Orviz Technology, as I've put here. And we are basically a startup company who are focused on doing video-based applications, very specific applications for businesses. It's not for consumers, etc. So the next slide talks about our product. It's a one-touch video calling solution for customers of customers. So what I mean by that is that our customers are enterprises or government departments or whatever else, and whoever is using the services or products of these customers use our technology in order to reach the officials of that company. So a simple example is that you are in an airport and you need a transfer desk information, right? And you are in Frankfurt, you don't know German, so you need to find someone who can speak English. So that is something that can be done with our product, because we're giving an end-to-end solution which can actually tune the requirements of the specific customer and their user, and you can customize it for them.
Let me stop you for a second. The use case that you described, that I'm in an airport in Germany and I need to find somebody who speaks English, what has that got to do with video?
So it does not have much to do with video, except we are integrating it with our video solution. So our basic idea is that I want a a face-to-face interaction with someone who can give me my gate information or transfer information or whatever. So video is good from.
Foremost, we don't need a face-to-face information. That kind of information is available on screens, on electronic screens all over airports. That is not something that passengers have any interest in using face-to-face customer support reps at all.
Okay, so in general, if you look at the various service industries or even businesses, they really want to push for video because they feel that the customer is more satisfied with a face-to-face interaction. There will be many users who don't want that information.
I don't agree with that. You have to be very specific with which segment genuinely wants that and where is it a real need, because if you actually genuinely talk to customers, most of them have no interest in doing video customer service.
Okay, so we have actually done some talk to some people, some customers. In fact, one of our leading customers is from transportation. It's the railways department in India, and they are very happy with what we are giving them, and they actually want these virtual inquiry counters, if you will, and they're very happy with what we have done, and they're looking into converting that into the first business actually.
So you have to be very specific on where do you see real customer validated need, because the use case that you started this presentation with of the airports, I don't believe that anybody will be interested in that.
Okay, that's a very good input because we have not validated it with the airports, but we have validated with railway stations and bus terminals, that kind of things in India, specifically in India.
So there is your segmentation. If that's the segmentation, that it's railway stations and bus stations in India who are interested in this, then that is your penetration point.
Fair enough. Actually, that is what my segmentation slide really talks about. We have looked at the Indian market, and we have actually segmented it into 3 major areas whom we have actually talked to, right? And there are some other areas also.
Good.
So the first one is transportation, and we have talked to railway stations and bus stations, and we have put the airports there in the same category. It's a very smaller segment, a smaller part of the segment, because there are fewer airports than bus terminals and stations put together, right? So that is our first segment that we are attacking, and this year it talks about the TAM. You know, we have maybe we can put tens of thousands of units into the transportation systems based on the level of interest that they show. So in the later slide, I'll talk about the validation of this concept with railways and where we are at with that. But the second one I want to talk about is banking and finance. Here, one example is that you are in a branch where a particular service is not available, and you want to be able to talk to someone. So there again, some validation has been done, and as a matter of fact, the Ministry of Finance is actually pushing for using video and some other higher-end technologies for customer service.
Okay.
There are RBI directives and such for
okay.
which talk about this. So that is the second segment which we are really targeting, entering into. We have little less information about how much penetration we can get into that, because if the Ministry of Finance actually makes this into a mandatory requirement in the near future, then it's a very large number, even larger than what I put out there. But we see that around several, again, tens of thousands of units can actually go into this segment.
Okay.
The last segment which I want to talk about is healthcare. Very briefly, I'll talk about it. We have, once again, talked to a couple of major hospitals in Bangalore, and they have a constant need for patients to be able to talk to the right department. I mean, there are like, 50 departments in any hospital, and they don't know where to go sometimes. So they need some help with that. And right now, the way they're solving it is putting a lot of people there and a lot of desks there. So this is something that they are interested in, and the other space they're interested in is in putting the patients in touch with their insurance providers, which is a big problem when you're going through a cashless transaction in hospitals. So these 2 use cases we've actually validated with hospitals here. So these are the 3 big segments that we are looking at. There are several others. There is retail, like in malls, hospitality, even governance, e-governance. We have some interest, but it is not as big as the others.
I would stay focused on segments where you see real validation and real adoption, interest in adoption, Don't make assumptions, and especially when you're doing a presentation, don't lead with a use case that is not validated. Talk about use cases that are validated. Because there's a completely orders of magnitude different level of credibility when you talk about, okay, we have talked to these customers, and this is what we're learning, and this is how they want to use our system. That, when you speak like that, people who are listening to your presentation come away with a different level of credibility.
Yeah, I understood. It's a good feedback. Thank you.
Okay.
So the next slide talks about the customer acquisition strategy. This is basically what we are doing to go after the customers. So right now we are in 2012. We have started and we have done the prototyping. We have done a pilot, and right now it is just direct sales. So, you are just talking to people, making blind calls. Like one of the hospitals was just, we called them up and they said, hey, we are interested. Why don't you come over and show us something? So that's the kind of thing that we are doing. We are doing free pilots. We are offering free pilots. The one in the railway station is a free pilot, and that is not yet converted into real business. And we are offering to customize some features, the UI, the way they want it, because we want to make the first business happen first. So this is the current status. We have one pilot awaiting conversion. It's in the finance vetting process. And we have very early stages, 3 proposals in 3 different areas, like I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
can I go back for a second to the earlier slide, because I want to really talk about what we are going to do going forward, because we want to actually continue doing direct sales for important customers like, for example, the railways or the bus stations where they can have hundreds of different places, but we want to reduce that and we want to make the features more standard per vertical. That is the idea, and then we will start the indirect marketing in the near future, probably trade shows and more of online marketing, YouTube, etc. And we will look into ODM partnership models as well, which if it comes our way, there are some indications that, for example, in banking or in finance, there are, they're already working with a bunch of vendors. They are comfortable with the guy who gives them the ATM. So if we tie up with them, then maybe, it'll be easier for us to make a sale there. So that is the basic idea.
But bother with advertising. This kind of business never happens through advertising.
Yeah, so in advertising, I'm not very clear on what I'll advertise in, but basically trade magazines or very specific journals kind of thing.
No, you need to
I'll scrap it.
If you're trying to penetrate trade magazines, what you need is PR, not advertising.
Okay, I will put that into the list. That's very good. Thank you. So the validation effort I just mentioned, we used Indian Railways as our teaching customer. They told us certain requirement based on what we showed is possible with the technology, and we have installed the pilot system. It's been a little over 2 months now. And they have validated the use case. They have found the quality and the features very usable. And we were very happy to note that the passengers are very, very happy to use the system, because even illiterate people can go and touch a button and get to where they want to be. And they may not be in a position to use a touchscreen-based inquiry system where they have to enter a bunch of information, right? So this was found to be very useful. And we got some feedback from them. We are actually making our next design so that we take care of that. So we are they are looking at that. Yeah.
What is the size of a deal here? What is the unit cost, and what does that?
Yeah.
What size deal are you talking about?
So the average cost of the unit is $4,000. That is the end-to-end solution. So it includes your hardware. There is a big touchscreen, 22-inch touch screen that we are giving them. And then there is the software, then there is a server, and then there is the system at the other end where the people are receiving the calls. So that's around average of 4,000 per unit.
And how many units does railways need to buy? Is it one unit, one touch screen per railway station, or there are multiple units per railway station?
Bigger. Yeah, so I'll take an example. A big railway station like Bangalore, they want to put around 10 systems. But a small, tiny town kind of a railway station, they want to put 1 or 2, maybe just 1.
Okay. Okay.
And so these are my challenges. What is my marketing strategy? We talked a little bit about it. As you can see, we are a little bit raw on that side, and any input from you will be very valuable. How to do a scalable marketing, and whether how to go beyond the Indian market if and when it's necessary. And then there is a funding question which we'll come back to later.
So right now, the only way you can sell this is actually, it's not even marketing. It's essentially you're going to have to create a direct sales process. We teach a very comprehensive direct sales process. Not just direct sales, it's a combination of telephone, web, direct. It's a funnel building strategy we call it the Sales 2.0 strategy in the program. But that's basically what you're going to have to roll out in a very systematic way, and that's going to become your scalable marketing strategy. I'm not completely convinced that you're going to be able to sell through other people anytime soon until you get the reference customers and until you get a good feel for exactly who are going to buy, what are the use cases, and so forth. Getting other people to sell unvalidated products is extremely, extremely difficult. Okay. So, your ODM strategy will not work right away. I think for at least another year and a half, you're going to have to sell this yourself. Maybe 2 years, you're going to have to sell this yourself and build your reference customers and reference accounts and the reference use cases and the metrics and so forth. So that's, feedback number one. This is, there's a difference between sales and marketing, and this is not a product that can be sold with a lot of marketing right now. It's going to have to be pure sales.
Okay.
Now, as far as bootstrapping versus financing is concerned, again, all over the world, this is not just true about India, it is true all over the world, that companies, businesses that are not validated cannot be financed. So you are, starting to get some level of validation. You're going to basically get to a much more, much more significant validation, and then it may be amenable to financing. The one thing that you're going to face here is that Indian investors are very wary of long sales cycles, because these kinds of businesses are taking very, very long to sell. Getting a decision out of Indian Railways, getting a decision out of large banks in India or hospitals are very long sales cycle. And generally, venture capitalists are looking for fast, high growth businesses. And so you're going to have some issue about that. So, I guess the long answer to your question, or the short answer to your question, is that you're going to need to build this organically for a while and see how you can accelerate the sales cycle. And having more reference customers, more reference use cases is what's going to give you that accelerated sales cycle.
So in your mind, the more number of customers is 5 customers or 50 installations, 100 installations? What kind of numbers are we talking about? Just out of curiosity.
It depends. It depends very largely on the sales cycle. If you can show 5 customers that you can close in a relatively quick time frame, that shows one type of a business, evidence of one type of a business. But if you're showing, 5 customers that each of them take a year to close, that's a very different business. So that's where the rub is going to be, is in the velocity of the sales cycle.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right. Next is Musafir Bhatti.
Yeah, Musafir is here. Hello.
Yes,
Can you
hi.
hear me? Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. Nice to listen to your first discussion. Now, what I have done in last two years, I have developed 2 e-commerce solutions. One is running, and this one solution is group e-commerce solution. So this is not a very new idea, but what I have done, let me explain slide by slide. Hello.
Yeah, we're listening. Go ahead.
Okay. So my name is Musafir Iftikhar. I'm staying in Kuala Lumpur. Actually, I'm from Pakistan. So when I came here, I started working as a teacher, lecturer in a college for teaching IT. Then after then, I started developing few solutions myself. I'm a Java certified developer also. I have a good command on many languages. I was interested in developing e-commerce solutions especially. So I have worked with e-commerce solutions. So what is this customer proposition? What we are trying to do, we are creating a solution where people can advertise their products, just like OXL, just like Craigslist, but my solution is more like OXL or OLX. But what is there, we have provided each shop owner a home page. And then what is another idea that we have included, we are creating a product search engine and service search engine for the shop owners, shopping malls, and online, offline buyers. So what is this? We creating a e-commerce solution where everyone has their own control panel and they can log in and then upload their products, and then they can advertise them. If they have the e-commerce solutions running independently, they can link their product to the e-commerce product. So one button is there to buy button. Once the customer clicks it, it reaches to the e-commerce solution.
I don't think we understand what you're talking about. So first and foremost, you're going to need to learn to present your concepts a bit.
Okay.
Who is are you talking about e-commerce solutions like BigCommerce, Volusion, these online store products? Is that the kind of thing that you're trying to develop?
Yeah, actually, I given the link here. I thought that someone may have seen the solution. That's the reason I'm so wide in speaking about the solution. But I think that I have to explain very clearly from very beginning what the solution is. The solution is e-commerce, group e-commerce solution where shop owners can participate and they will have their own account for uploading their products. And then we have included the shopping malls also as a location of the shops. Once a user comes there, he can find who's selling what. And he can find, a user can find just like from the categories, can browse from the categories, or can go to the search product by the categories, or any product they can search.
So what is happening here? If you're talking about a shopping mall, let's say it's a virtual shopping mall concept,
correct.
And you're inviting other vendors to come and set up shops in this shopping mall. Is that what you're saying?
Correct, correct. But the idea is a bit more than this. We have virtual shopping malls that includes many shopping malls. So we have physical shopping malls, not virtual shopping malls. So we are trying to promote shopping malls in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur especially. We started this idea with the Kuala Lumpur. So what we are trying to do, we have created a solution where we are creating a product search engine and service search engine for the shop owners. So this is the first slide.
Yeah, but this is very complicated because if you go to a shopping mall and tell them that you come and set up your shop in my shopping mall, in my virtual shopping mall, they have to go through a full e-commerce transformation, and I'm not sure why they would want to set up on your shopping mall versus just a regular, e-commerce site. And even if they do, one way or the other, make the transition from a physical store to an e-commerce store has certain, it's not a very fast process. People take time to make that transition.
Yes, that's correct. That's the reason what we are doing. The data uploading process that we have created is very simple for everyone. And I have noticed that here in Malaysia, especially in many third world countries, they are not really in e-commerce. So we are giving them a first step to come into the e-commerce. So the uploading of the product is very easy, and then managing the product is very easy. It's very simple. So if I explain it in another way, it's just like managing your blog.
Hold on. That's fine. I think what you're trying to do is build an e-commerce solution. So I think this shopping mall and all that is relevant because in the geographies that you're talking about, there is actually not that much e-commerce going on. People are not setting up e-commerce shops yet. So what you're talking about is somebody is streaming in some echo here. Maureen, can you type? In any case, speaker volume on the presenter side is high. That's causing the echo. Is that better? Okay, well, maybe. So, Musafir, this is my take on what you're presenting here is, I think you're trying to get small merchants to get into becoming e-commerce vendors. And you're trying to give them a very simple solution through which they can do that. And I think you're going to have to work with individual merchants. You can go to a shopping mall and tell them that we want all your shops to go e-commerce. I'm not sure what kind of response you would get. Have you talked to shopping malls?
Yes, I have talked to the shopping malls, and I have got a good response. And people are agreed to come on my my site. The reason is that people have the online shopping mall, virtual shopping malls, but they are asking for a lot of money. They're charging a lot.
Okay.
Whatever model I have created is very cheap. So the first reason of people are interested is cheap. The second reason is that it's not fully e-commerce. If you, there are many shopping means vendors or merchants who do not want to sell online. They just want to advertise their product, and they want to show their presence online so that they can attract the offline customers. So people can see their products and then can call them, can read their shops, and then can buy the products. So this solution is like this one. There's one very popular solution in Malaysia that is called Mudah.my. Mudah.my is online advertisement solution where everyone can advertise free of cost. So it has become very popular, but it is for general general public. But we have created this solution specifically for the merchants, whether they are offline merchants, whether they are online merchants.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
Okay. So this is the segmentation analysis I have done: shop owners, shopping mall management, and online offline buyers. So for online offline buyers, what we are doing, we are creating at the moment, we have created a wish list type function where customers can put products in their wish list, and later on they can receive discounted emails on their wish list. So they can plan, okay, we wish to buy something in coming summer. So in that summer, before the summer, they will start getting the discounted deals from the sellers. The merchants may be online merchants or offline merchants. So customer acquisition strategy, fine look of products. Certainly, whatever I have created, it looks better than other websites. Though I know it's not really.
How are you going to acquire customers? How are people going to know about it?
Yeah, it's word of mouth. We are telling at the moment people about our solution, pricing. We are
that's not a customer acquisition strategy. You're going to have to seed the word of mouth. How are people going to learn about you to even start the word of mouth?
Yeah, the thing is that it's very simple cycle actually. Whatever I have noticed, first we are covering the shop owners, right? First we are filling the system with the data. Once it will be filled with the data, the second cycle will start. We will start advertising online. We will advertise in all forums.
Do you have money to advertise?
Excuse me.
Do you have money to advertise with?
Of course, I don't have money. At the moment, I
this is not a joke. I'm asking you a very serious question. You're making assumptions that you cannot afford. How is that going to help you build a business?
Yeah. What I'm doing actually
start with business assumptions that make no sense and that are not affordable. That is not a strategy. That is a fantasy.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. You start with the fantasy, then it becomes the reality.
No, it doesn't.
So this is very.
Honey doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah, indeed, it grows on market and it grows on your innovation. So certainly, this thing that I have developed, I have got very good response, and I know that after a while I will.
Oh, look, we are here. We are here not to discuss fantasies. We are here to discuss strategies. This is a 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable. Here we discuss reality and how you're going to put one foot before the other. We don't discuss fantasies here. That's not what this forum is all about.
Yeah, that's very good. Actually, that's the reason I'm participating. I thought that once I participate and if I give you the very clear idea, I may get the funding for promoting my solution and making money.
No one is going to give you any funding for what you've presented so far, because it is not clear.
Okay.
Because you don't have a strategy of how you're going to market this, how you're going to bring this to market.
See, I got the strategy. I have told the strategy is very simple. There's no such complications. Once we will have data,
you are not listening to me. Musafir, it's no point my spending any time with you if you don't listen to me.
Yeah, certainly I'm listening to you.
I'm telling you that you do not have a customer acquisition strategy. Until you have a customer acquisition strategy, we call it customer acquisition strategy, go-to-market strategy, until you build and develop that go-to-market strategy, and you have to develop it in a way that is reasonable. Advertising is an expensive solution. You can do a little bit of advertising that you can afford, but that is not going to give you enough scale to build this business. What you're trying to build is a fairly expensive, what you've presented so far is a fairly expensive strategy. And until you show validation and traction, nobody is going to give you funding. All right, I'm going to skip over to the move over to the next presenter, and I will talk about funding. I think funding is a question that will come up over and over again. I'll talk about funding and what is required to raise funding later on in the session. So hold on for a second. Let me finish listening to all the presenters, and then I'll talk about funding as a broad discussion.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Santosh, next is your turn. Intent 3.
All right. Thank you, Shramana. I want to first of all start by thanking you for giving me this opportunity to pitch to you. And over the next few minutes, I will just quickly take you through on what exactly we have, of course, ahead for this. So I'm Intent 3, and I'm Santosh. I'm based out of Bangalore. And I started off with this company with the primary niche and hoping to target a sizable niche, not just in India, but abroad, of trying to understand and optimize online business, primarily e-commerce business, any kind of another online businesses, and also mobile application, which is a growing size right now. So one of the interesting quotes that I actually found in online retailer was that 89% of online businesses fail because they aren't really optimized well enough to better engage their buyers. And when we normally look at optimization, the first thing that comes to our mind could be user experience. But what I have realized over my experience of working with a lot of e-commerce retailers across the world, companies like Walmart and Tesco, is that it's not just limited to user experience. It's a big component, nevertheless, but there are other factors which play an equally important role, like the performance of your business, your functionalities that you're putting in, and of course now security itself, which is a sizable proportion that's coming up. So I found that there is a sizable niche which could be targeted if 2 or 3 major problems were resolved. And based on my discussions with most of the retailers, from bigger sized ones like Walmart to even smaller ones down here in India and Asia, there were 2 or 3 major things that came out from those discussions which I could. Number one was, of course, the frugality of being of testing itself, especially when it came to small, medium businesses and startups, who kind of overruled testing because they found it was very expensive, and most of the guys who did testing were those large organizations providing these services for larger organizations. Second was the timeliness. Now, most of the online businesses are on embarkments to get or go live as quickly as possible before the competitors get that advantage that they're trying to go through. Unfortunately, most of the traditional testing methodology, at least what we have in India, is something that's not giving them that an edge in terms of the timeliness, and it takes a hell lot of time for most of them to come back with their analysis, which beats down the whole purpose of doing in the second place. Third is being measurable. Unfortunately, most of the testing that comes out is very theoretical, doesn't give them the kind of measurable inputs that they want, doesn't really associate with the KPIs that most of the business owners want to think about, things like what's your average order or conversion that's going to get impacted, what's your shopping cart abandonment that can be reduced by these steps. So unfortunately, there's not anyone who's providing that kind of a consulting and optimization based on these testing results, which actually helps them to see the impact on the bottom line. So these 3 or 4 major areas is what actually got us going, and we said this is a potential opportunity for us that we could actually target to most of these online companies.
Does it exist, Santosh? Is it in the mid-sized e-commerce businesses, because the Walmart kind of people, or is it the Walmart kind of enterprises that you're trying to go after?
Right. So my go-to-market strategy is starting off with mid-sized segment companies, more or less guys who are in the startup to mid-sized kind of companies who understand, who want to get their websites optimized, make it competitive. But eventually, I would like to grow it to a size like Walmart and Yahoo.
But there are different solutions. The solutions you're going to be developing, the price points and the kind of product that you'll be developing to cater to a SME segment is not the same product that's going to work on a Walmart site, for instance.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's a transition that I have to go through while we go ahead with it.
On the other hand, on the small SME side, people are not willing to pay a lot of money. So especially if you're talking about an Indian customer, that's a customer that doesn't like to pay at all.
You're absolutely right, and that's been one of my challenges as well. One of the biggest challenges that I've been facing is to try and get people to understand the importance of optimization, try and get them to understand what testing is, because they're always in a rush to get their products out, and they don't necessarily see a lot of value addition. Though you have numbers, you have historics, data, all that, but unfortunately most folks, at least in India, don't understand the reasons for that. And you're right, the customer acquisition is quite significantly high for me, so that's one of the areas that I'm trying from that. But what I have realized over the last few months is that I have some of the big customers now in India who have actually gone ahead and signed up, because a lot of folks who are starting online.
We're having difficulty hearing you. Something is happening here, Maureen. Maybe you can help us, manage the echo, because I think your line is streaming echo in and we can't hear you. So if you have your volume, the computer volume up, maybe you need to reduce that or turn that off or whatever. Something is causing. Okay, that's better. Whatever happened there is better. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just decreased my volume.
Still coming in there. So here's what I see here, Santosh. I think optimization is going to be of interest to e-commerce vendors who have been in business for some time and are actually selling at a certain level. You know? My estimate is there needs to be a sizable revenue in the e-commerce business for them to start worrying about optimization. Startup companies are not going to worry about it. Startup companies are worried about just getting something started, starting to sell and so forth. It's not, they're not going to worry about optimization until there is some business happening. So your best bet is to look at companies that are already in some significant e-commerce revenue stage. And I'm not even sure how many of those are in India right now. Do you know how many of those kinds of retailers are in India right now?
Well, I don't have the numbers, but I know there's a sizable amount of them right now in India.
There is a sizable number of e-commerce companies who are selling, let's say, $2 million, $3 million of merchandise online.
Yeah, there's definitely more on that. Yeah.
I would go for that segment and try to work with them on their optimization problem, and not forget about the sub 1 million category.
Okay.
And see what you can learn in terms of their needs, because until you've been in business and selling and have some data, I don't think people are thinking about optimization at all. Just psychographically, merchants who are not selling at all are not thinking about optimization and cannot afford to pay you anyway. So if you go to a business that is doing $1 million, $2 million or more in revenue, and if you go and tell them that I will work with you and I will increase your revenue by 30% by applying my methods, they will be willing to listen, and you could say, okay, I'm going to take 5% or 10% of the revenue that I help you generate, something like that. I think that could be your entry strategy in getting your reference account. So if you get to work on real data and real customers for a year in this mode where you take a success fee perhaps and just build up your reference accounts, that may be a reasonable way to go to market.
Sure. What would you suggest being things like this?
Well, sorry, I didn't get the question. Come again?
What would you think would be an ideal marketing strategy for companies like this? You mentioned about 2 million.
This is direct sales.
No,
identify the list of who all these companies are and go talk to them.
Okay. The major problem here, I don't know if you face this, but the major problem here in India is it's not that easy to approach people.
Well, every business has to approach people. There's no going around that. If you cannot approach people, you're never going to sell anything. This is that problem is very solvable. We have plenty of companies in India that are doing business. So approaching people is a global problem. Businesses approach people and sell to them. So if you can create, we teach lots of methodology of how to do that efficiently and effectively. If you're interested, we can teach you those methods of how to approach people and how to convince them and what is the process of doing that. But that's a solvable problem.
Okay.
Okay. What else?
Yeah. So Yeah, I think one of the slides that we just passed by is the size of the pie that I was looking at, and it's more like a global number there. But but while I was doing this research, I found that even out there in the West, though e-commerce has been there for quite some time, there's not any significant optimizers who are actually doing this and who are purely focused on this kind of a business.
Well, again, same thing is if you can get to companies that are, doing some serious amount of business online, you can approach them and talk to them about optimization, and that same logic applies to foreign companies as well. And if you can work with foreign companies, I mean, it's not so difficult to find lists of retailers, in other countries as well who are actually doing significant amount of business, and you can approach them, and but you need reference accounts. I think the first order of business is you need to find a set of reference accounts where you can show real value. If you can show that, yeah, with working with this company, we have raised their revenue by 30% by optimizing using our methods, then that's a very compelling. You can even talk to the CEO of a $1 million, $2 million, $5 million e-commerce company. They will talk to you if you say that I know how to optimize and I can optimize the system to give you 30% lift on your current revenue. That's a compelling enough pitch, and especially if you say I'm willing to be paid in a success fee model, I think that would be a compelling model, and you could work with companies abroad as well.
Sure. One other strategy that I wanted to actually run with you, Sumana, was I was looking at a mixed kind of a marketing strategy. One was, of course, to directly talk to these customers. Second was to look at affiliate marketing, and not just affiliate marketing from the online way of it. Actually, guys who are doing development for e-commerce companies. Guys who are web designers and who are developers, and I'm talking about companies, not just freelancers, who have been doing this for some of the larger companies in India or even abroad, and work with them on a partnership model where they could refer our services to their customers, saying that, hey, you have done this development design, but this is the company who can optimize it better, and throw out some numbers out to them and work on some.
You can try it, certainly.
Have you seen that kind of an approach working?
It depends on what kind of deals you create. If you create such a deal that you would go talk to the e-commerce vendors, service vendors, and tell them that here, let's propose that we'll optimize the sites and we'll split the success fee. That may work. Test it.
Just one last question. Now, what here is we are trying to get this whole model works on crowdsourcing so far, because I'm on a bootstrap level. Obviously, we're trying to make it as frugal as possible. So most of the guys who are working with me are working in other companies. It's definitely crowdsourced. We have a lot of guys who are working with us. I'm also trying to outsource the business development to guys who are working with other companies in a crowdsourced model. I'm not sure. Some of the challenges I've heard and I've encountered, especially from the West, is about infringement and IP violations and people working in other companies not allowed to do that with crowdsource. I'm not sure if you have heard of those and what are the ideal solutions to those kind of problems in a crowdsource.
Well, I think the real issue is how you protect at every level, how you protect service levels, your own quality of delivery. If you take a project, a live project that people are going to pay for, and you're going to touch other people's systems, how you protect your ability to deliver using a crowdsourced model, your ability to protect IP, all this is going to come under question. I don't think that's the way to build a company, really. You have to have a core team to help you build a company, especially when your business is about touching other people's systems. It's not the kind of business that you can build by outsourcing. And if it is by outsourcing, then you have to work with one organization where you have some sort of a, IP protection contract and stuff. If you're doing a product, that's different, but this is a service.
Sure.
I'm not thrilled about the model, frankly.
Right. So you're saying it's better to actually have a core team. I mean, considering a service like this, and you're trying to stretch our legs here, what kind of a core team would you suggest? Would that be a marketing and operations kind of a guy, or?
It depends on what your skills are and what complementary skills you need. If you need programmers who are to be able to work with you in delivering, optimization on other people's sites, you need people who know how to do that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And if you are the programmer, then go work with a few customers and deliver the solutions and grow organically as you generate revenues, hire more people, train them, and that's how services companies grow everywhere.
Okay. Probably the last final question that I had was, this being a service company, one of the things that really gets me off my sleep is that anybody could pretty much ape it. There's already a quality team out there, and there's a company which has been doing testing. I don't see what should stop them from adding this. If this gets more acceptable, it should be very easy to kind of take that and incorporate into their service line and provide that.
Assuming that you have some superior knowledge of optimization, you have some domain knowledge in e-commerce optimization. People are not going to let you do if you're a generalist, right? If you actually know something that they don't, that's when they give you projects and pay for it. If you're a generalist, they're not going to buy your solution.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. But I was trying to think if I could do something different as a process, or just to give an example, the automation process that we're trying to work with, trying to create a framework which reduces time and cost for the testing of the e-commerce site significantly. So if I could create a process or a product.
Yeah, as you start doing these projects, you will learn that where you can create intellectual property, where you can create software, where you can create methodology that is unique to your your delivery, your solution delivery, and that's why it's very important to start working with customers and on real data, on real scenarios. So that's where you learn what works, what doesn't work, what you need, what you can automate, what you can productize.
Sure.
Okay.
All right.
Need to move on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Farin Lathia, you're next.
Yeah. Hi. My product is the Alumni Portal. We call it the Alumni Portal. If you go on to the next slide. Yeah. The Alumni Portal, as the name sounds, it's a social platform. It has two target markets in a way. One is institutes who wish to engage their alumni body. This need is becoming more and more important as there are alternative models of delivering education coming all over. The physical engagement, the batchmate experience that university or an institute delivers is becoming more and more important, and the alumni network is assuming more and more importance in the world today. Second is the alumni who wants to leverage their networks for getting jobs, getting businesses, whatever they might need.
So the first question that comes to my mind as I'm listening to you is, honestly, people are not using alumni networks. They're using LinkedIn. And LinkedIn has very concrete ways of engaging with your alumni. They actually have alumni groups and so on and so forth. So
yes.
I'm not convinced that this is something people are actually.
So this is the first reaction that we get from not only customers but anyone who hears about the Alumni Portal. But what we found is this is a product that appeals more to the institute. So just skip 2 slides. And just move on to that. You just raised that question. Why does it matter? See, what happens is our product is targeted towards the alumni, but the decision maker is the institute. So LinkedIn groups, LinkedIn networks are not controlled by the institute. That is a primary disadvantage of LinkedIn, Facebook. There are even link networks that are created by some of the alumni. So that is primary. Second is when institutes want to engage their alumni, there are some specific reasons that we've identified. One is placements. Second is fundraising, most important. So that is why we find a lot of institutes are searching for alumni networks which are private, which they can control. We've had instances where, in India at least, colleges where LinkedIn groups or Facebook groups were started by placement officers for external relationship heads, and then once they leave the institute, it is very difficult to transfer the ownership. It's very difficult if a student starts an official group out there. So an official tag is more important, and there are certain things like placement, there are certain things like recruitment of their current students, fundraising, organizing reunions, engaging alumni in any way. It is a whole lot easier when it is done on a portal which is specifically designed for this purpose rather than a network which is general for people who just want to network. Like link networks is something that I would consider as a bigger threat than LinkedIn or Facebook. Link might not have that many users, but here the institute's perspective is more important than the alumni perspective, because institute is the one who needs to push for this. Then comes the alumni. So just move to next slide. The alumni perspective to this is not only about networking, but then there is one factor on LinkedIn, on Facebook, that I want to connect to my batchmates. That is very easy. The people I know, to connect to them is very easy. Suppose I want to find someone who is working in a specific company who was from my college or my institute. That becomes very difficult. Finding that person becomes very difficult because his information is not visible to me if he is out of my second level network or maybe even third level network. Second thing is, once I find that person, it is very difficult to connect to that person because actually that person is not my batchmate. He may be from the same institute. The appeal that I send, and on LinkedIn, people who are worthy to be connected to, they would be receiving 10 friend requests every day via groups, via XYZ, a lot of ways to connect on LinkedIn. But then with this, that exclusivity factor plays a much bigger role, where when I'm connecting to someone, if you are on my alumni network, if I connect to you via an alumni network, that you may not log into the alumni network as frequently as LinkedIn. That is okay. What you just mentioned, they are not being used as much. That is okay. So then you are on that. Once you are on that, if I'm connecting to you, you get an email, so you are more inclined to reply because there are less people and more serious people out there. So that exclusivity factor comes into play. That is what.
How many universities or schools have you started working with this?
Currently, we are working with one school in Mumbai and one college in Mumbai, where we've just given a beta release for them to test. We have about 1,500 people combined on both networks. In the school that we've deployed, what we've realized is that they want the students to log in more frequently, and the school is taking more initiative to get more and more people on the portal rather than the alumni just out of curiosity they come once and then they don't log in. But the institute has a much bigger vested interest in getting all of them online. And the response that we've got is, after deploying this portal, the number of people attending the reunions have gone up significantly, and they are even selling certain merchandise on this portal. So on this portal, we have set up features which have opened certain revenue channels for the institute. Right now, we are not charging for access. That is one disadvantage. Our business model that we are planning has a charge per access for the alumni. Right now, what we've realized is, from the feedback that we've got, is that people won't mind paying. At least the school that we've deployed, they have about 15,000 strong alumni, out of which we have about 900 people online already. It's been about 4 months that we've deployed now. None of them are paying an access fee, but then they are buying a lot of merchandise. They are paying for reunions, which is entirely online, and they are not minding paying for that. So that way we are getting a lot of positive response.
Okay.
The business model that we are planning is to take the burden off of the institute. We don't want institutes to pay up. In fact, we want institutes to benefit from them because they will be the ones pushing this to the alumni.
Okay.
If you just move on to the next slide. Right now, segments that we are getting positive response from is B schools. B schools is the topmost segment. Almost every B school that we've contacted till now, direct sales, we've never got to know. Right now, we are evaluating the product with about 12 B schools and 3 engineering colleges.
Okay.
Only thing we've realized is that these are not A-grade schools. A-grade schools are not that interested, maybe because their alumni body is already very active and engaged on whatever network they have already.
Yeah.
B-level B schools and engineering colleges are showing very good response,
Okay.
especially when the pricing for institutes is very low. What we need to check out right now is after deploying the portal, how many students pay up. That is where our revenue is going to come from on a recurring basis. That's what we are relying on.
Okay.
Apart from that, what we've realized is about 10% of the alumni network would join this kind of a portal. That is the figure that we have right now. Just we conducted a dipstick market research with the price point that I just showed, $20 per year per user. So we've realized that about 10% of people from the grade schools are willing to pay for that.
Okay.
Right now we have a website, thealumniportal.com, where we've already got past month 900 visitors, and there are a lot of institutes, not only in India but in a lot of other countries, Iran, Russia, UK, US, a lot of countries signing up for this kind of a portal. And what we've realized is in past one and a half years, the search engine traffic, the traffic which is searching for alumni software, alumni website, alumni network management, that traffic has gone up by 10 times. So eventually institutes also use this as a marketing tool where they say this is our alumni network which you can benefit from for a lifetime. So this becomes as a marketing tool for institutes. That is why we are seeing so many visitors and so many leads are getting generated for us. We're not actively engaged with these leads, but they are there in our pipeline. We've tried with certain top institutes in the country like IIMA, IIT Bombay. We've already contacted their alumni department heads, and they have demoed the portal, but they have a clause where they have to have a vendor who is already serving at least 5 people in the education industry, because that's the Indian government norm. We don't have 5 clients as yet.
But,
so
I think what you said earlier about the Tier 2, Tier 3 business schools and engineering colleges being a better segment for you, or B schools where you're getting the traction, that's fine. If you can there are lots of business schools in India right now, right? There are lots of private business schools and new business schools. So how many of those are there?
Right now in Bombay itself, there are about 110 B schools and engineering colleges combined.
Okay. So nationally, you're probably talking about several thousand, right?
Definitely.
Why don't you just crack that segment and focus on that segment and get that segment going, and you will learn a lot by working with them and deploying them and actually converting them into paying customers. That's really important. You have to convert them into paying customers, and I think you can, if you do this, just those 2 segments for the next 18 months to 24 months, you will both have revenues and you will learn a lot about the market, and your product is going to become a lot more robust.
What we are facing right now is a challenge in terms of the kind of work that we've done earlier. If you this is the right side. These are some of the competitors. Two are major right now. Webonics is a company based in India itself. Their business model is not the same. Their target audience may also not be the same. But what happens right now is to convert a sale, as you mentioned earlier in Ketan's presentation, it is very difficult to get an institute to sign up in India, just right from going to placement head to the director to trustees. So that cycle is too long. Whereas what we've realized is if we deploy it for two known names, like an IMA or any institute which is a known name, even if it is at an operational loss for us, if those names appear in our portfolio, the sales cycle would reduce from 3 months to, let's say, even 1 month, 1.5 months. So in order to reduce that sales cycle and to get the second tier schools going on, it is we somehow find it very easy to do it if we have one tier 1 school in our portfolio and say this school is using it, so why don't you start? And it becomes very easy for us to convert.
So yes, I think you should continue pursuing the IIMs and so forth to get that reference, big name reference customer. But my guess is that if you roll these platforms out in your real target customer base in the second tier, third tier business schools, and you let them run with it and do something, find a use case that they want to do, whether they want to run a campaign, a fundraising campaign or something, and let them do that successfully, and then you go to them and say, are you ready to pay? Otherwise, we're going to take the product off. We're going to lock off your access to the product.
Okay. So right now,
you let them use your product for indefinite periods, they will never pay. Which I believe, my guess is that's what you're doing. You're letting them use the product for free for indefinite periods of time, and you're not ready to lock them off. If they don't pay beyond a certain point, you basically tell them that, sorry, you're using our product and you're not paying us. I'm afraid we cannot support you anymore. We're going to lock up. We're going to turn off your. You cannot use our product anymore.
Right. For these two customers, they've been with us since past 8-9 months. We've been using them more as testers. They're very accommodative that way. So the customers whom we are pitching right now, there are about 12 demos that we've already provided. For them, we have already given a charge. So it is $1,000 for the institute to pay upfront as a contract fee, and then students would pay via payment gateway. So that model is what we've already pushed with all these pipeline leads right now. And that seems to be working. So we are almost on closure with about 3 to 4 of them, and rest are also very hot. So they might close anytime this month.
Okay, good. Okay.
One
I have to move on. I think. And if you have a quick question, you can ask, but I need to finish the last presenter. We still have one more presenter.
Yeah. One quick question is price point of $20 per user per year. Is that too low or too high? We've got a lot of mixed reactions. Some people say it's very low. Some people say it's okay.
That is something that you're going to have to validate with your market. I have no idea what people are willing to pay, and what depends on what value you deliver. If there is real value of professional networking and, really alumni finding some real value. One thing I think alumni in India are trying to do is to recruit wherever they are working. They're trying to recruit, and if there's a sizable value in terms of recruitments or even finding their own jobs and so forth, that could be very valuable, and that's where you're going to have to very clearly delineate what is your differentiation versus LinkedIn.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Next presenter is Syed Harris. Syed Harris.
Hi, Shamana. How are you doing today?
Good. Tell us what you've got.
All right. See, I spoke to you a couple of weeks back regarding one more startup which is called Masala Street.
Okay. So why are you doing multiple startups at once?
This Zucumi, this idea just came, after
I was
just like this.
Answer my question. Why are you doing multiple startups?
This product is, I want to do Zucumi on to make sure Masala Street, sticks out and gets cost-effective word of mouth advertising.
That's not how you. That's not how you build businesses. You don't do.
No, I know. I'm supposed to work on one product, launch it, do go deep into the market, then launch the next one. If at all I have the next good product.
No, if one business is successful, then you build that one business and do synergistic things and not parrot things.
Yes. See, this happened just like that. I was just wondering, how do I market Masala Street, in a cost-effective way. So I was just like thinking, because I don't have the funding to take Masala Street to the level I really want to take it. So I was just, I have a friend who's got a Facebook, account group, which has got 8,000 people following him. So I just felt that, how do I reach people who've got large amount of groups, because he is concentrated on, Chennai Food Guide. He calls his Facebook group as Chennai Food Guide.
Okay.
So I know him for a year, and I just spoke to him. I said like, see, I need to market Masala Street in a way that 50,000 or a lakh people in Chennai come to know, and people who are interested in food, interested in restaurants or hotels, or what kind of cuisines are coming up. Is there a new restaurant coming up in the city? That kind of people who are like more towards the dining out, or people who are like gourmet kind of people.
Yeah.
So see, when he had this group, I told him that how do I get into your group and make people notice my brand? So he said that just give me your link, I'll just post it, or you come inside the group and post yourself, talk about yourself. And I thought like, I need some kind of reference that makes it stand out. So I said, I don't want to talk about my business, I want you to talk about. So that time he said like, okay, so what should I do? I said like, then I thought like, okay, this is one guy I have who's got 8,000 followers. There are lots of guys like him who are having a lot of groups. So I thought I'll build some kind of rewards platform where people can easily share my link to their networks. So it's like, my friend Nishant, who's got this group of 8,000 people, I said that I will give you a link. All you have to do is post that link, let people click on that link, go to the particular page where they will say like, like Masala Street in Facebook, get 100 points. Follow Masala Street in Twitter, get 100 points. Order food from Masala Street, get 500 points. These are the things will be there in that particular page. All you have to do is post that link so that these people can go. And when they do certain things, I will share those points with you and them.
Okay.
So I said like, you've got 8,000 followers. Say for an example, you got that huge social.
Have you tested this with Nishant? Have you done this project, Nishant?
Yes. See, what we have done is he's got this 8,000 people. We didn't want to go with the product with all the 8,000 people. So I said like take a group of 50 guys so that we can just send this particular link so that they can click on this and go and how it works. So we have used this Facebook and Twitter API. So what I have done is, the system works in this way. Nishant posts this particular link. Somebody goes and he says that, hey, dude, there's a new site. Go check it out. If you like, share, and buy from that particular website, you get huge amount of points. And Nishant gets half the points what those guys get.
Okay.
So like, if there are like 500 people, Nishant is able to convince. So what happens is like, all the 500 people get 100 points for each action. There are like 3-4 actions: like, share, follow, tweet. They can also buy. Hello.
Fine. So what happens? First and foremost, what is the point? What are the points worth?
How it works is like somebody likes me, so I give them 100 points.
What is the benefit of getting those points? What's the benefit?
Yeah. see, what happens is somebody from Nishant's groups likes this thing and gets 100 points. After 100 points, they can come back to the platform called Zookoomy and redeem their points there. So all I have to do is tie up with brands who are ready to redeem these points. See, for an example, I'm ready to pay Nishant ₹2 for a like. Do you follow me, Shramana?
No, you are trying to create now a redemption network, and the best, in my opinion, the best redemption network for what you're trying to do is going to be the restaurants that are on Masala Street, who are willing to redeem those points. So I don't see why Zookoomy needs to be a platform, because it's going to take immense amount of effort to build Zookoomy as a business. Instead, you just use technology. It is just an API tie-in with Masala Street, and you can work with. You can just use whatever you've created and create the redemption network for the restaurants, and that's it. This doesn't need to be another business. And I'm totally, completely against you're building two different businesses that are completely disjointed.
Okay. So this was a very simple product, because when I shared with my team, they said like, we can do this, try these things in a week's time. So I just thought, if I'm able to generate business through this particular product, then it can generate a lot of business for a lot of startups.
It's going to take up, then you're going to this business and not Masala Street. You can forget about Masala Street. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
Choose one or the other, but you're going to do one business.
Yeah. All right. So I felt Zookoomy's got more potential than Masala Street.
Then do Zookoomy and forget about Masala Street.
But I've spent nearly 7 months building Masala Street as well. So I and I do understand that I have to focus on one particular product.
I'm going to tell you a story. There was a company that the founders of Twitter founded.
Okay.
So I think about 2 years before Twitter came about. It was called Odeo.
Okay.
And that didn't go anywhere. They spent, I don't remember how much time, but sizable amount of time working on Odeo. And while working on Odeo, they came up with Twitter. And they canned Odeo and went and did Twitter, which became a much bigger success. So this has plenty of precedence. As you're working on one idea, the fact that you come up with another more promising idea and you switch gears and go implement the more promising idea, this is a very common...
What? Hello?
That's a very common phenomenon in entrepreneurship.
All right. So how do you find this idea? You find it idea to work better than Masala Street, is it?
Probably has better monetization model, but you haven't fleshed it out yet.
Yeah, that's true.
So I have no idea. You go flesh it out. You go figure out the details of the business and see how all the metrics turn out. What is the TAM? What is it going to take to sell?
Okay.
But, the areas of social media marketing technologies is a pretty active area. So if you can get something out of it, that's an interesting possibility.
Okay. All right, Shamna. So, that's it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so we're going to talk very quickly about 1M and how we can help you, and some of your questions about funding. Many of you had questions about funding. I'm going to tackle it now in this segment. Before we go into that, though, if you found what we're doing valuable, these discussions about your business and brainstorming about strategy and so forth valuable, please let's, at least another 10 serious entrepreneurs in your network, your friends and fellow aspiring entrepreneurs or fellow entrepreneurs, let them know about this service. The resources start at 1m1m.sromanamitra.com. And the first level resource is actually our blog at sromanamitra.com. That's www.sromanamitra.com. And we have numerous case studies and numerous trend analysis and just content that is all entrepreneurship that you can learn from, and that's all free of charge. In addition, you have the Entrepreneur Journeys book series, where we start synthesizing some of the case studies with analysis and synthesis and methodology. And the books are all available internationally on Amazon and Kindle. and in India you can get them from Flipkart. Bootstrapping and positioning happen to be two really cornerstone philosophies of our business. And why is that so? Today I countered several of you on your assumptions that you're going to raise money and then do blah blah blah. The truth is you're going to have to build a business with traction before anybody is going to write any check, because that's how it operates. The entrepreneurship business operates that way today. You cannot raise any funding without showing a business that already has traction. So you better figure out how you're going to bootstrap and grow organically to a point where you can give enough data and enough analysis of the business of how you're going to scale that business to investors. Otherwise, you are not going to succeed in bringing a business, bringing a product to market. Do not assume that you can raise money and then bring a product to market. So, Musafir, your assumptions about raising money and then building the business is completely wrong. It will not work out. So these roundtables, in terms of resources, these roundtables happen at least every Thursday, and sometimes these days even more than once, because we are working with a lot of corporate partners on contests and so forth. So we are on our 134th roundtable today. Thousands of people come to these sessions and use these sessions for their entrepreneurial learning. In addition, we have the premium program. The 1M1M premium program consists of extensive methodology guidance. We have a curriculum that teaches you some of these things that you're trying to learn: how to build a repeatable sales process, how to build a go-to-market strategy, how to understand what is fundable, what is not fundable, what are the dynamics of funding, how to approach investors, how to approach customers, channel partners. All of that is taught in this curriculum, and the curriculum is a combination of case studies and video lectures. You can do it at your own time. I'll talk more about the curriculum in a minute. We also help you with business development. Where we have contacts, we connect you with customers, channel partners, media, analysts, wherever we expose you to our media channels and so forth. And there are private members-only versions of these roundtables, strategy roundtables, within the premium program as well. And if you are a fundable business, if you get to a point where you look like a fundable business, we will also help you by connecting you to investors and introducing you to the right people who will help you finance a company. Now, my guidance to you is go to the 1M1M page and start at the self-assessment. There is a 9-point self-assessment. We strongly recommend that you take yourself through the self-assessment. And if you are a premium member, you would be able to access the curriculum modules that are attached to the self-assessment page. You can also go to the top right corner of the website where you have premium member, premium program description, FAQs, video FAQs, and so forth. So that will give you more details about the premium program. And you can also talk to Irina Patterson, who can answer your questions. You will find her contacts in the, on the site, as well as you can get it right now at on the public chat as well. Irina is in the room. She can give you her contact information. Our methodology is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startups. Not because that's a luxury, it's because that's what you need today to get a business going. You have to follow this lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startup methodology, get your business to a certain scale of a certain traction level, and you have to answer certain questions before any investor is willing to write you a check. So how do we impart this knowledge to you? It is through a comprehensive curriculum that is very efficiently put together so that you can really digest all this material very rapidly and get yourself abreast with all this information very rapidly. We give you 7 core curriculum modules: bootstrapping, positioning, market sizing, customer validation, financing, customer acquisition, and team building. And we recommend that you budget 50 hours of curriculum time, and we are seeing enormous impact of just digesting the core curriculum. In addition, we also have elective modules, and those are aligned to the trends of the industry today. where we see a lot of business going on. Web 3.2 and e-commerce, cloud computing and business solutions, outsourcing and consulting, mobile and social apps, healthcare IT, online education / educational technology, and gaming are probably some of the core areas where we are seeing a lot of activity, and you have elective modules in each of those categories. We have hundreds of case studies of successful entrepreneurs. This is the largest and most intensive focused collection of case studies of early stage entrepreneurs, how they've put one foot before the other. And those are the kinds of case studies that we use to teach you what you need to learn about building businesses. And we synthesize the lessons of those case studies in video lectures. So you have available both the video lectures and the case studies. So it's not just Shromana teaching you this curriculum, it's these hundreds of successful entrepreneurs who have taken the time to work with us to give you access to their lessons, their knowledge, and also it's extremely inspiring to learn from these entrepreneurs who have been very successful and are willing to share their knowledge with you. We do have an affiliate program, so if you're dialing in from some geography where you want to become a 1M1M partner, affiliate partner, we are happy to work with you. We have lots of roundtables coming up through July and August. July 12th is the Click Workspace Massachusetts Roundtable. July 19th is ANN Media Elance contest. That's the final of a contest. And then July 26th, August 2nd, August 23rd, August 30th, we have numerous roundtables where you can come and seek help and seek guidance. Please feel free to take advantage of them, as well as let your friends know who are looking for this kind of guidance. For those of you who are in India and you're looking for an idea to work on, do check out the Vision India 2020 book. There are $45 billion business ideas in that book, and it's a business fiction set in 2020, looking back on how we've built these businesses. So you'll get a lot of strategy, detailed strategy guidance in each of these chapters. It's a futuristic retrospective, and it's a really fun book, very inspiring and very fun to read, very easy reading in some sense. And you're welcome to take those ideas and implement any of them. We do have a module called Vision India 2020 in the 1M1M program as well, premium program as well, so through which we can help you implement these businesses. So that's pretty much it. If you have questions, you can use the public chat to ask questions at this point, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Anybody?
Excuse me, may I ask a few things, a few points that during discussions I noticed?
Sure.
Thank you. First of all, the whole discussions from the first one to the last one, I listened very carefully. One thing I noticed that, okay, I do agree that you have very good experience in running startups, but I noticed the way you listen people and respond them is a bit offensive. That was, I think,
yeah, we don't sugarcoat feedback. We give you feedback absolutely raw, and if you take it or leave it.
Second thing, the assumption that you are saying people do work on the assumption. I have so many case studies myself where people had no money at their hand, and people financed them based on their idea, and the ideas were very successful. So first of all, I must mention that it's not like that you go into the market and people will not give you support, or they will not finance you. I've seen so many cases people are financed.
So if you know so well what you're doing and you're confident that you can get financed, please go and get financed. We can only tell you what we see in the market and what we believe. So we agree to disagree on this point.
Mr. Mana, that's the point. That was the reason I participated in this meeting, that because I thought that there would be some certain support or some certain encouragement regarding the ideas, but I noticed at the end of the meeting, we have been informed that we have to participate in further studies and further participations, and we do tell people about participating in this program. So it is a bit like advertisement of your own company. That's okay. I know that that's a part of the market. That's good. I like it, the way it has been created and the way it has been treated the people. But I tell you one thing, I hope that you may be a bit polite to the people and a bit reasonable to them rather than disencouraging them. And I tell you, there are many companies, they bring a very good idea and they fail, even Microsoft, even Google. They open their products, they close down. The Google Buzz is Google Orchid, so many are there, Yahoo! So we do not.
Okay, I think we've heard enough from you at this point. You're talking a lot about things that we don't believe in. Google Buzz. Google is a multi-billion-dollar company. They can afford to experiment and fail. A small entrepreneur with limited resources cannot afford to squander their money and fail too often. So this is, philosophy-wise, you're talking about things that we completely do not believe in. So I think we've given you enough time. Now we need to give time to other people. We are coming to the end of the session. I have another meeting in 5 minutes, so I need to wrap this session up in 5 minutes. If anybody else has any questions, please ask in the public chat. And by the way, 1M is not a non-profit. We are a for-profit business. If you're interested in working with us, please take note of that. We do not misrepresent anything. This is a business. We, just like you are a business, we are a business, we are not a charity. Anybody else? Any other questions? Binu Zakaria is asking, do business solutions using open source platform have any disadvantage in the market? Binu, the commercial open source market actually has become a very successful business model. If you go to my website, the shromanamitra.com website, you will see there are numerous case studies of commercial open source business models, and I'll give you some examples. One of them is CollabNet. CollabNet is a commercial open source business model that has been very successful, and you can read that case study to get a sense of how these models are monetizing. So commercial open source as a business model, actually, I think we have done some 10, 20 case studies of that category. So if you do a search on commercial open source on our website, you'll see there are tons of case studies, and you're welcome to read those. I don't think there's any disadvantage in the market on commercial open source. It's a very acceptable, tried and true business model at this point. There's no problem with funding commercial open source at all. So Binu, by the way, you're sending me private messages so nobody can see what you're writing. Please, anybody who's using the public chat, please use it in a public mode, sent to all participants. Anybody else? Any other questions? Again, you're sending me private messages. Syed Harris is asking, can I pay $1,000 for premium course in installments? We do not accept installment payments. Santosh is asking, again, private, would you be able to help us in reaching out to e-commerce businesses in the US? We'll teach you how to reach out to businesses. We don't do the sales for you on your behalf. We can introduce you to people we know in the industry. We know a lot of e-commerce businesses in the US and elsewhere in the world, and we would be happy. So if you follow the methodology, and when you're ready to be introduced, we will be definitely willing to introduce you to introductions to customers, potential channel partners, potential investors. When you're ready for that kind of introduction is part of the 1M program. So those of you who are asking me these private questions about introductions, yes, it is part of the 1M Premium program, so you're most welcome to take advantage of that. Having said that, please understand that you have to be ready for those introductions because both your credibility and our credibility depends on what we introduce to whom. Okay, folks, unfortunately, I have a meeting in just 1 more minute, so I have to say goodbye to you all, and I will see you next week. And look forward to working with you more on your businesses. Bye, everybody. Thank you very much for attending.